Oh, hey, I didn't see that. Welcome back. Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed the previous videos. The last video I did a thing about Easter and April Fool's Day coinciding. A bunch of people did. I did get some negative flack from that. One was that I said that Easter Monday was the 1st of April when it's actually today, which is Sunday. So I do apologise about that. Calendars, dates, whatever, it's all the same. And the other thing is, like, I did say that it is a joke, and it was light-hearted. It wasn't meant to be sacrilegious or anything like that. It's just something that came to me at that point. Was April Fool's Day as well as Easter? What happens if the whole Easter thing was Jesus practicing a joke? Hey guys, you thought I was dead? I'm not. And I do apologise. I don't mean to offend anyone's religiousness, and I really think that Jesus must have had a great sense of humour. But enough of that. I do apologise if I offended you. It wasn't intended to offend anyone at all. But anyway, let's get on with this. So, again, the video quality is not very good. The audio quality is not very good. I'm just using an onboard camera on my MacBook Pro. What I'm doing is I've been kind of blowing things out of proportion as far as, like, I know I can get lighting and cameras and da. And then so I've actually been making videos, and so I decided to myself, doohickey that, let's start making videos, get into the flow of making a video a day, and then once I've got that as a habit, then improving on software and hardware will come along. So that's what this is. So I decided to call this Interesting Facts. That's FAQS, like frequently asked questions. So it's like a play of words, Interesting Facts. And so, because basically, again, I'm a plethora of useless information. People can ask me questions. So here I am answering them. And one thing also, there's a friend of mine actually told me this. It's for entertainment purposes only. The information provided, as far as I'm concerned, is 100% correct. But people can tell things that are wrong. And so if you just want to, find something that you can tell, hey, did you know so-and-so and so-and-so? Okay, well, good. If you want to use it as something towards school, then I would say don't do that. Instead, go to a library and study yourself. So the question I've been asked to answer today is, why is Friday the 13th unlucky? Okay, so that is to do with times of when there was horse and carriages and castles and fair maidens and knights in shining armour and that kind of stuff. What's happening is the Catholic Church was taking over most of Europe and also the Middle East as well, the promised land, as it were. And so one thing you need when you go from one place to another place is backing. You need armed forces, you need equipment, and you need to be able to build, and you need to be able to recruit. And so one of the things they had to ship from one place to another was currency, and this was in the form of gold and silver, jewellery, that kind of stuff. So what they did is they built armoured carriages, like horse-drawn carriages, all armoured and that kind of stuff, for people with swords and bows and arrows and what have you. And then tons of people riding with them, carrying flags and trumpets and swords and lances and that kind of stuff. And so what happened was, to the robbers out there, this was kind of a broadcast saying, hey, John, what's up, John? We're both called John. Yeah, what up, John? See that over there? Oh, pomp and circumstance, if you ask me. They got tons of money. All right, let's get a gang together and mug them. So that's what they did. They got a gang together, mugged them, robbed them of the wealth, and bada bada boom. And this happened so often that the church was kind of getting a bit miffed, and so were businessmen as well, because businessmen were doing a similar kind of thing. And they were like, we need something. We need a team of intelligent warrior type people that can help us rid us of this problem. Now, as a side story, the samurai were very, very similar to this. The samurai were actually heavily educated, almost royals, as it were. They weren't just like noble people. They were, top of the echelon, as it were, as far as like fighting and education, that kind of stuff. So basically, the Catholic Church was looking for something very similar to that. And so there was this group that ended up being called the Knights Templar, which were hired by the Catholic Church. And so the Catholic Church said, we're looking for people who are intelligent, who are smart, who are strong, who are great at fighting, who can protect our money for when we go one place to another because we're sick of getting mugged. So the Knights Templar came along and said, let's have a go at that then, see what we can do. And they said, okay, good stuff. So what they did is they did something which is mind-blowing. They said, all right, so what you're telling me is you're taking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of units of currency, and you're riding it from one place to another. Okay, that's your problem, isn't it? So what do you mean? I mean, if somebody says, I've got hundreds of millions of whatever, it's more likely to get robbed, isn't it? Because you've got a huge lump sum. Whereas if you say, that guy's got 2 gold coins, you'd be like, don't take the risk, right? And so what they did is they had themselves like an accountant, as it were. So say, for instance, Mr. Rich Businessman comes and says, hello, I want to take 20,000 monies, and I'm going over from town A to town B, and but I don't want to get mugged on the way, so what do you suggest I do? And so the Knights Templar said, okay, here's a slip of paper. You give us your 2,000 or 200,000 units of monies, and here's a slip of paper and a seal. And then when you get to town B, you go to our building and say to the people, hey, how you doing? Here's a slip of paper and a seal to prove it's me, giving my 200,000 units back. And I said, okay. Now, taking a step back from that, I just realised my futon's falling apart. Okay. To take a step back from that, what they did previous is to transfer the wealth, instead of taking huge amounts in one lump sum, they were taking small amounts in small lump sums. So they were saying to, hey, sheep farmer, you're going over to town B, aren't you? Yep. Do me a favour. What's that? Take a couple of gold coins with you, and I'll give you a piece of copper for payment. So what did you do? Take the 2 gold coins over to town B, and you're going to give you a piece of copper. What? Fair. That's great. And so that was what was happening, is every person that was going from town A to town B, the Knights Templar would give them, say, a couple of gold coins, a few gold coins or whatever, just, and paying to do it, and they'd drop them off at Knights Templar. So basically, after a few months, town B suddenly had a bank with hundreds of thousands of units in it. And so, again, what they do is they write a cheque. Rumour has it is the Knights Templar actually were the first people to invent the checking system. Rumour has it. And, a seal of authenticity. And then they'd say to Mr. Rich person, or church person or whatever, okay, you ride from point A to point B, no one's going to touch you because you've got nothing. And then when you get to point B, give them your piece of paper and your seal, and they'll give you your money back. And so that's how that worked. Now, this became such a success all over the world, known world as it were. There were little Knights Templar things going on. And the church was getting worried, because they're like, hang on, the Knights Templar are actually making more money than us. And they're stronger than us. And they seem to have like a little bit more control than us. So we've got to kind of nip this in the bud. So they learned all the ways of the Knights Templar, and they started making their own little banks and that kind of stuff, and their own little checking accounts and that kind of stuff, and blah, blah, blah. And then what they did is they, on the night of the 12th, Thursday the 12th, of whatever month it was, they said, hey, Knights Templar, you're doing a great job, thank you so much. We've arranged a party. All of you turn up, all your big wigs and heads and all that kind of stuff, everyone that's important, come turn up. And we're going to give this huge spread, as much food as you can eat, as much drink as you can have, as much illicitness as you want, anything you want is yours. Now, either the food was drugged, either that or the Knights Templar were fed so much that they became delirious, as in made drunk until they passed out, blah, blah, blah. But come Friday the 13th, all the Knights Templar, the heads, huge amounts of them, I mean, not thousands, I don't know how many of the Knights Templar actually were, the ones who were actually important that controlled everything, were passed out. And so then the church said, oi, we need an assassin or 15. Okay, go into this building early in the morning, kill a lot of them. And so that's basically what happened. The assassins came in, killed all the Knights Templar, and that's why Friday the 13th is unlucky. So there you go. I'm so conscious that my futon mattress has slipped. So I'm going to get that fixed. Anyway, so there you go. So that's another question answered. As far as I know, that's correct. I've fact-checked it with a claw machine, and so hopefully that's correct. Also, I checked it against some fortune cookies, and the information seems legit. But again, if you're using this information to, what's it called now, for any kind of school project, don't for your own doohickey, just in case I'm wrong. I'm not saying I am, but I'm not saying I'm not. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, so I've got my camera, I've got my microphone on the way. It should come in the next few days. And then I will continue doing this, but what I'll do is I'll work on the Windows laptop and then do some practice runs on that, because I want to see if I can use the software on there to become more kind of prolific. That's a good word. Anyway, that's it. Thanks again. If you've got any questions you want answering, put it in the comments below, or send me a message or whatever like that, and I'll see what I can do to answer it. I'd like to thank you so much for viewing this, and again, I'm going to do on this every day. And I do have one question that somebody asked me, which I thought was rather funny, but it's a quick one, and I can give a quick answer. Their question was why. My answer to that is because. Okay, thanks a lot. See you later. Bye-bye.